Hey, everybody. How's it going? My name is Gary Palmer Jr. There we go. You are you, and together we are minting coins, and we are talking about everything that's happening in the market today. There's a lot happening. P.S. Not your keys, not your coin. Things happening in Congress, things happening in the market, things happening across DeFi and across the space. There's a whole lot to talk about. There's a whole lot to get into. And then to kick it off, we have 184 and Novax on the call with us. Hey, 184, how you doing?
I'm good, Gary. How you doing?
Good. What's going on with your day? How are you doing?
Well, my day pretty much consists of the World Cup. So there's about four hours of my day is taken up with games. I would make it 6, but that would be a degenerate thing to do. So 4 is appropriate.
Yeah.
Other than that,
sounds like you're giving yourself room for 5.
For 5 hours, I can do that. Thank you, Gary. Thank you for the permission. I'll let the household know, and we'll make it happen.
Permission. I'm just reflecting what I'm hearing from you. It's like you did 4, 6 would be too much. There's a number 5 in the middle.
I see what you're getting at, and I'm going to test that out tomorrow, and I'll report back.
Very cool. And we also have Novax. Hey, Novax, how you doing?
Hey, great to be here, Gary. Thanks for having me. It's nice, a little bit of fun and intrigue with the domain plug listing and tagging party today. Just going through different categories of cannabis, real estate, talking about what's listed there and which domains we have. It was a good time. I spent a few hours today doing that, and also quite a bit of World Cup over here as well. All 3 of my children are born in 4-year increments on World Cup years. It wasn't planned, but they are World Cup babies, and all of them, we have pictures of them as, infants watching World Cup. So it's good times.
That's really cool. And are they into it, or are you alone in the house? Who else loves it with you?
Oh, my wife was a fairly competitive soccer player, her whole career, through college. Her D1 team was national champs and everything. So she's big into soccer as well. And then back in like 2006 or something, her and I don't remember which must have been World Cup 2006, I imagine. We were on a cruise ship through France and Croatia and in Italy, and watched the World Cup. We watched Zinedine Zidane headbutt what's his name on the cruise ship on the deck on the big screen too. So it's like a family thing, man. We're all into it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, no matter when you're alive, we need the gladiator games. And I think soccer is a great thing to rally around as opposed to lions and gladiators.
Well, it's kind of funny actually that you say that, because, the whole like feasts and games kind of thing is, it hits home, like, just given like that you're willing to broach some kind of sensitive topics and things. And I think like when you really take in an appraisal of our values and our culture and the decadence of the 90s and the 2000s, like we are at kind of a pinnacle, like hyperbolic state, and it's just interesting to see kind of like, will we collapse into utter depravity or will we ascend into something much greater?
Yeah, the gladiator games didn't start with the depravity, right? It kind of started a little more moderate, and then I think the depravity of the games got worse as the silver became less, a smaller percentage in the money.
Well, Suarez was scheduled to play against Cristiano Ronaldo today. And if you don't know, Suarez is a notorious biter. He's bitten like a dozen people on the field, and he still can play for some reason, like literally like leaving marks. And so my wife and I postulated, because Suarez wasn't on the field today, and we speculated that maybe Ronaldo had in his contract, like he would not go on the field with this notorious biter and risk his beautiful face. So we were really disappointed. So we watched some of the highlights and montage reels of Suarez biting various people. And I had to admit to myself, I was like, I wanted Suarez to play because I wanted to see a bite. And I realized like I had to check my own appetite for the circus.
You wanted blood. It's like the Thunderdome. We want to see blood.
At least some little teeth marks. Not even blood, just a couple bite marks.
Bite marks. Yeah, that it's kind of fun, but it's also, you can see the road that we get to that end game, right? To the people wanting more, just, more intense. And yeah, you know what? I think things are going to get more intense here. And if you're here, thanks for being here. If you're watching this video, if you're joining us, like this video, subscribe to this channel. We love it when you subscribe. We love it when you comment. We love it when you like this video. It really helps us, really helps the engagement. And while you're at it, check us out at mintingcoins.com. Mintingcoins.com is where you can become a member and support us and what we're doing here, the content we're creating, the builders who we're supporting, the content writers, developers in this ecosystem. And yeah, it's like, the supporters is what makes us. The supporters are what break us. We're, at least for me, speaking for myself, I'm here having fun, just shooting the breeze, going over content, going over information. But we would like to see what are people interested in, and to sort of meet people where they're at, and to, educate and inspire, and just, talk about Web3 without getting into the degeneracy. And your support, become a member. It goes a long way. It helps us a lot. Yeah. So happy Monday. I mean, okay, the weekend and the days, some sort of like mixes in for me. Things get really crazy, especially with everything happening in the market. It always seems like there's a lot happening. And I don't know if you guys noticed. You guys ever notice how information gets dumped on a Friday, then launched on a Monday? Do you guys notice those aspects in the press? Being someone in media myself, I always pay really close attention to what news comes out on a Friday and what news comes out on a Monday, to get a sense of if they want us talking about it or not.
I haven't thought a lot about the that aspect of the cycle. That's an interesting comment, Gary.
Yeah, and also joining us, we have 0110 with the Palindrome 4K. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, guys? Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for jumping on the show. Thanks for being a part of Minting Coins. What is your name? What is your identity? And what is your quick background?
I go by Marfan, but yeah, 010 stock. Yeah. My background is physics, computer science. That's what I studied in school. So yeah, I'm from Lagos, and I've been following you guys for a while. So I think you guys are doing a great job, and yeah, really support you guys. So it's great to actually finally be live on your show. It's an honor.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. So what do you like to prefer to be referenced as? 0110, or how do we say it?
Marfan. I actually go by Marfan most time.
Marfan.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
MFHAN. That's like my usual
Muffin.
Discord username and all that.
I mean, okay, Muffin. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Muffin?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You got your your Muffin.eth?
Yeah, I got that.
Good.
That's like my base .e username.
Yeah, and you have a master's or a background in physics and science. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I have a master's in physics, computer science, just basic.
Physics and what?
Computer science.
Computer science. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I love physics and I love computer science. Yeah. Well, very cool. And you're in Lagos?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, and that's where you are now.
Yeah.
Cool. And where in the world is that?
Lagos is in West Africa.
North Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like. I don't know if you're paying attention to DevCon, but I kind of wonder if DevCon 7 is going to be in somewhere in, you know, Africa. There's a couple different places that they were talking about, you know, Kenya, Nigeria. But yeah, remains to be seen.
I didn't hear about that. So that's
Yeah,
that's
they put out a Twitter poll. You can go find it on Twitter. They put out a Twitter poll right after DevCon 6, you know, saying, hey, if we were going to do this in Africa, which African country?
Definitely.
What's that?
If it's anywhere in Africa, I'm definitely going to be there because, like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's.
Yeah, and I want it to be there. So like we got to put the pressure on them. I don't want it to be in. I mean, it's not going to be in Russia, but I don't want it to be on the other side of the world. So we got to put some pressure on. Yeah, I don't want it in America. You guys have too much stuff. Africa's in my region.
That's facts. And yeah, you guys shouldn't sleep on Africa. Like we're one of the guys that are really adopting, like, you know, blockchain technology and everything because by default, I think really and truly when all is said and done, like people in like what is usually referred to as third world countries would be the biggest beneficiaries of, you know, this crypto tech and everything going on because like I think we really need it the most because our currencies are the most shit, you know, and I think we stand to gain the most by this whole adoption. So yeah.
I think that's also where innovation comes from as well. You get innovation in different kind of environments, and to take that label of third world as well, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of innovation, and there's a lot of people that are thinking about like a market that is maybe not the typical market that people are disregarding, right? So I mean, I'm just in a loop here. There's just a lot of creativity that comes from different places, from places that don't have the same old circumstances of where money is being injected. So when you've got transformative tech, well, environments that or cultures, demographics, whatever it is, whatever the economic circumstance is, that is waiting to be transformed as well. And I tell a repeat story, so it's probably boring, but I'm paying a lot of attention to Nigeria, and it was mainly because I caught on Netflix. I caught like a Nollywood, which is Nigeria's Hollywood. I caught a Nollywood documentary and just had to go down the rabbit hole of that industry and how fast it's growing, and then it had me looking at other things for Nigeria, and you guys have the population and you have the absolute. It's just ripe for disruption, and you've created. I say you've, like Nigeria looks as if it's created these economies that are within Nigeria, but fiercely nationalistic and loyal people that travel all around the world and take that culture with them. So yeah. there's so much to see. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Good people too, and kind people. I mean, you know, you meet people from around the world. You know what I mean? And like personally. I don't know if it's like, you know, like just, I don't know, like if it's like wrong or stereotype, but seriously, every Nigerian I've ever met has been like the coolest, nicest, kindest person. Yeah, like very friendly and, you know, trustworthy.
I can tell you for a fact the stereotype is really, really wrong because most times actually, you know, I'm speak about where I'm from. Like I'm actually usually met with some kind of expectation. Maybe he doesn't speak properly, you know, he doesn't know as much, or she's a scammer, you know, all of that is usually wrong because, I mean,
as long as you don't say you're my uncle or a prince, or as long as you don't tell me I'm a prince, you and I are fine.
Yeah.
But in real life, real life is different than email.
Those guys have ruined life for Nigerians, to be honest. That's not who we are, and that's not our representation, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's a big difference between who somebody is and who people are in real life.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, the people that you see, you know, because there's a stereotype about everything. There's a stereotype about Texans, you know, people from Texas. and there's a stereotype about New Yorkers, and there's a stereotype about people from, Portland or Miami or everywhere in the world,
Yeah.
There are no stereotypes about Australians. There are none.
Oh, they are spiders and animals and all those creepy it's like deadly what's it called, animals in and around your homes and all that. So that's the only stereotype about Australia I know.
And everything else is positive about us. As long as we settle with that, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are cool.
Yeah, I could get into the Australian stereotypes, but we'd have to save that for the after show. I know one thing. That you don't mess around with those kangaroos, man. Those kangaroos will box you out.
Yeah.
I know more about I know more stereotypes about kangaroos, to be honest. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, speaking of stereotypes, there's a lot of stereotypes everywhere. One of those stereotypes, not your keys, not your coin. This is like a new thing the kids are talking about. I don't know if you ever heard about this.
Yep.
And we have Maker. I thought this was interesting. MakerDAO community. We're kind of going through this in the ENS DAO. The MakerDAO community rejects a proposal. There was a MakerDAO proposal, and the MakerDAO proposal, I believe, was coming from CoinShares. And CoinShares was like, hey, MakerDAO, why don't you guys invest maybe $500 million in bonds? And, MakerDAO, keep in mind, is the largest lending protocol. Previously, they had approved a plan to invest $1.6 billion with Coinbase Prime to get a yield of 1.5%, which kind of seems low, but maybe that means it's really safe. I'm not a big finance guy. I'm like a buy and hold sort of guy. But the latest plan to invest the $500 million, they voted no, and the reason they voted no is because they're freaked out, and they're freaked out because of everything that's been happening, right? With all the FTX drama, it's probably good. There's like a lot of craziness out of there, right? It's like the things wax and things wane. It's like bad news goes out on a Friday, good news comes in on a Monday, and if it's really bad, it's the Friday before a holiday. You guys, if you guys are just getting into media, start paying attention, not just what news comes in a Friday and a Monday, but what news comes on a Friday before a weekend, for a big holiday, I mean. But yeah, so 500 million, they said no. Just, having caution. People probably are paying, before they probably would have just voted for this through, right? Not paying attention, or thinking, oh, it's a good idea, or everyone else is going to do it, so I'm going to do it. But, now with everything crazy happening, several delegates, it says here, several delegates have recently told CoinShares, the big, finance company that put in the proposal, several delegates told CoinShares they're reluctant to vote for the proposal because, and the other PSM management proposals, because of the market conditions, because of the FTX implosion, because of the Genesis insolvency. People don't know, is there even another shoe that's going to drop? People are so freaked out, they're falling for all the wrapped Bitcoin drama.
This is really great to see. Did you say, as you were reading, that they initially had pitched, or they were initially going towards a $1.5 billion, and then it was reduced to 500 mil with the same mob, and then they rejected it entirely? Is that how the story is?
Yeah, so with the details, we'd have to get into a little bit with how that 1.6 billion, but like it says here, the community approved, and this is through CoinDesk. And CoinDesk is owned by Digital Currency Group and grayscale and goes up the chain there. But the community of MakerDAO last month approved to allocate 1.6 billion to Coinbase Prime, which is Coinbase's custody arm. They're going to get 1.5 annual, plus they're going to do another 500 million to a consortium of hedge funds via Apollosa and a crypto broker, Manita-less.
Yeah, so this is really great.
Higher yield.
I think this is great. This is, as you said, this is showing that we're sort of learning and we're recognizing that there needs to be more due diligence. And I think Coinbase is fairly safe and secure, and they don't leverage their tokens, or at least they say they don't, and they have to report on that quarterly. But I think this is great. This is MakerDAO delegates learning that we don't need more risk, and now is the time to scale it back, both in size and in kind of the freeness of throwing coins out there to other people. I hope that whatever new pitch does come in, along with that pitch, they are doing a proof of their how they're going to manage, how they're going to hold the funds, or proof of reserves for the company itself against actual liabilities, not just showing some sort of a wallet. I hope that the MakerDAO delegates, hold them to an even higher standard based on what we've learned with FTX and BlockFi and all the others, whatever they are, whoever else is going to fall.
So it seems like the 1.6 billion was approved. So I think that went through. But then now they're sort of holding off. I mean, they're saying, where's this other article I was just reading? I think over here they were just saying they have MakerDAO has billions to invest, with more proposals than they have money. And so, yeah, I think the 1.6 billion went through for that 1.5 yield. Then I'm not sure. It seems like there's this additional 5. So I mean, that's like if this is 1.6 plus 5, then we're talking 2.1 billion, and then they're going to do another 500 million. I mean, holy goodness, this is a lot of money flying around. Yeah, and so I mean, geez, the bottom line there is just there's a lot of money in the DAOs, and now with all the craziness happening, the DAOs are a lot more hesitant, right? With what they're looking at their money, right? And what are they doing with their money? I think it's but I think in the past, we don't talk about this enough. In the past, businesses just handle the money and they do it in private, and maybe they have like different regulations or different responsibilities. You have a CFO, right? You have a CFO. There's like a single person who's making the financial decisions for whatever your business is. And now we have these DAOs, and like there's all this money, and you have a group of people, and a lot of people don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're all trying to make a good decision. And we have this major turmoil in the market happening with FTX. And now people are actually asking themselves, what are we doing? What do we like? We should actually care about what's going on and what we're going to do with this money and where it's going, and are we going to lose it, and what is the risk, and what is the plan? And so, yeah, just like you're saying, what 8.4, I see this as a huge improvement for the market, for us just to start having more care and more caution. Billions of dollars. It's crazy how much money has been like accumulated, right, through these DAOs.
Yeah, it's unreal, Gary. I'm going to chime in here and say it's actually crazy. Just how much capital is in the hands of this very fragile decentralized system. Now, I'm for decentralization. I'm definitely a decentralist. When it comes to DAOs, though, over the last 24 months, I guess, since I've been like full-time in DAOs and participating in various places on various blockchains, I've had the experience of seeing the common points of failure. And in reflecting on that and these large sums that are in control, are controlled by these DAOs, it's important to bring up those analogous industry business organizational structure elements, like you described. There's a CFO, because that's at the heart of whether or not DAOs and how DAOs will be successful is solving those issues of in a DAO. Because if everything turns into an infinite bureaucracy, it actually kind of slows the process down and gums it up. So there is kind of a need to reflect on what's worked in a traditional centralized environment and try to adapt something that accommodates us.
Yeah, super interesting. I mean, this is like one of those learning curves. Like if you think about it as a user, we know it's really hard to use wallets. And if it's really hard to use wallets and everyone's having all these like difficulty using wallets, well, on another end of the spectrum, we're also learning how to run these DAO organizations. And then within the DAO organization, we're trying to figure out how do we manage treasury. And, if it should be like a really tangible example how MetaMask is a horrible experience. And people don't know what they're approving or what all the gobbledygook is saying with all the approvals. And just as that user interface is horrible and the process is horrible and the infrastructure is lacking, so is the process and the infrastructure and everything else for treasury management or community management or communications management, right? Or HR, or like every single part of running a business or running an organization or running a DAO. Like it is, people, we're just figuring it out.
Yeah, Gary, when I was started getting involved in the Lobby 3 DAO with Andrew Yang's Web3, kind of a lobbying initiative to bring the voice of Web3 to our politicians in DC, I bought an advocate token for one Ethereum, like back when ETH was like around 3K or something, and had been really actively participating in that community and still do. I have some social media credentials and stuff, but I had experienced like such a cool thing. The DAO has had many visions for what people expressed that they want to do, and the conversation was very open. So it was very cool that we kind of gathered around a flag that Andrew Yang planted, and then we said, what do we want to do with the capital that we raised? And then we deduced it down to, in the process, like we wanted to solve some of those core infrastructure issues. So one of the things that we took up was the issue of zero knowledge proof of identity, because for our purposes, it's kind of necessary to have some level of assurance that political campaign contributors are their nation of origin. So the idea was just to provide like a ZK for a zero knowledge solution for proof of identity that could be applied to receiving political campaign contributions. And that was nowhere near like what we had talked about. I mean, you know what I mean? It's on target, but like as far as specifics go, like that wasn't even a thought until like a couple months ago, and now it's almost fully deployed, I think.
Proof identity, proof of humanity. Who are we connecting with?
It's all modular, right? So the other things that we talked about and want to do are in the services that we've used, I can't remember some of their names, but they're basically like DAO to DAO control, interoperability kind of stuff. And also, just like you described, the infrastructure for all the kind of things for management. And so there's some great dashboard setups. I'll try to next time, like bring the guys in, maybe do a demo once I remember their name. But we have some great tools with Lobby 3 that I've been using very often recently, but which provide kind of that level of like a third-party service that's a dApp that a DAO can adopt to, just bootstrap all of the governance, all of the, it's kind of like a snapshot on steroids or something. It's like, a wrapper for snapshot. So anyway, I'll get the specifics on that and share that because I think that's cool and useful. But that's kind of along the lines. It's what made me, want to respond to you, is that those infrastructure things are severely lacking, and even to the extent that you need some people to form a multi-sig, like they've never done it before, and some of them are using a hot wallet for it, and they probably shouldn't. But you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of that going on where people need to have enough ambassadors who have a core understanding and who are taking an interest in sharing that. So that's what I think we're kind of trying to do here is, bring people up to that level. And I myself am just part of my first multi-sig now. So I feel like I'm graduating to a point of where I'll have some experience with that. And I can help encourage some other people to do the same.
Risks and rewards, I mean, if there's if you have a 3 of 5 multi-sig and you lose 3 people, the multi-sig can never be used again.
It's truly terrifying, there's so many ways to lose your keys when you self-custody, and when you multi-sig, there's so many ways to do it wrong, and just kind of starting over is sometimes not really an option. So I think that, it's important to be really thoughtful, and that's a big lesson from Web3 that I've learned. Is people are like, oh, CryptoPunks, big deal, it's just a bunch of pixel art. And then you look at the traits and the fact that they had deployed this collection, took so much forethought. And as I'm building on the 100K cat right now, I can tell you, like, that provides a lot of opportunity to over obsess on different number rarity. I feel like, I'm going a little bit Rain Man with it. But the point is that, like, all of this stuff requires, a lot of pre-planning and thought and execution and implementation. By the time we see it, we kind of go, oh, a cat picture, big deal. When it began, it was nothing. And now it's, a set of many thousands with, unique rarity and all that kind of stuff for all these different collections. So I think Web3 has taught us a little bit that, for me personally, that to appreciate, some of that, because it didn't just fall out of the sky. There's usually like 2 or 3 or 4 people on a multi-sig together doing it. And it's not like 20 or 30 people doing it in some DAO. It's usually like a small group of really highly efficient, effective people working coordinated way.
I mean, you'd hope so. I'm sure sometimes that might not be the case.
Well, there's probably 1,000 failures for every success or something like that.
Yeah, I like to hope there's 10 successes for every 1,000 failures, but worst case.
I try to comfort myself. That's how I cope. I just scale up the denominator of failures, so it makes me feel better about my own number of failures. But I do think that's one thing I learned from my entrepreneurship classes, from all these different successful entrepreneurs who I had a chance to speak with, and they shared that commonality. It was just like, I mean, it sounds like a platitude and like almost condescending, or like, you know what I mean? It's a little patronizing, but it is true. Like, you fail forward. Like you fail. Every failure you experience is like truly a step closer to success, and you have to see it that way. Otherwise you give up.
Yeah, true. I think the whole concept of DAOs is quite really really still early, still fresh. I mean, I heard DAOs the first time just a couple years ago, and I think as time goes by, we're gonna smoothing a lot of the processes to do things more efficiently, especially the multi-sig. I myself, I was a part of my first multi-sig in Asian. It's a project I'm a mod in. I'm like a part of it. I'm a team member in, and yeah, I feel everything you just said. It's quite a kind of a new niche at the moment, and I'm still yet to see the. I think DAOs in the current form is not fully developed. If you ask me, I think there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but I think at the moment quite kind of a whole lot of cons to the way we approach DAOs at the moment. Yeah, so I think as time goes by, that whole process is going to be much more battle tested, I think. Yeah.
They're being battle tested right now. Yeah, 100%. They're being battle tested.
Yeah.
And not only are they being battle tested, but they're being pushed through, like really pretty hardcore. And what we're seeing here in sort of like the next article, we have Game 7. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Game 7, but Game 7 is allocating $100 million in open source technology grants for Web3 companies. Why? Because they're looking to support teams that are building innovative open source infrastructure that can accelerate the blockchain gaming space and foster collaboration. That's what they're looking to do. So this information is just coming out today, November 28th. They Game 7 announced this, the $100 million in grants. And now specifically what they're going to be doing is that they're going to be supporting individuals and entities who are building blockchain games, who are building blockchain smart contracts, who are building core software, infrastructure, community tooling, kind of all the stuff that we were just talking about, right? And $100 million, that's a pretty penny. I mean, $1 million, I mean, that seems like a lot of companies are only looking for 50 or 100 or a couple $100,000 to get going. But if you had like 100 companies, $1 million each, that's probably enough to get some things done. It's a healthy amount of money coming in a, the throes of a bear market, isn't it? To help develop decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, chain agnostic, any blockchain network. Yeah, we still don't know what the exact award amounts are going to be because those haven't been disclosed yet. But they are saying the applicants should not view the grants as a substitute for venture funding. So maybe it's only going to be a little bit of money, but they're saying, hey, keep on looking for funding. But we're going to throw, if you get this money, we're going to throw you a couple bucks. And you can still look for funding. But I mean, geez, $100 million. Upfront payments are only awarded in exceptional cases. So most of the time, it sounds like it's going to be retroactive funding. People actually got to get shit done to keep those checks coming in. Most of those payments are going to be. Most payments will only be issued contingent upon the completion of certain project milestones. So they're going to have know your customer checks. They're going to have a contract. They're going to, people are going to apply with their digital wallets. But the developers are not going to be bound, right? The developers are not going to be bound by any exclusivity agreements. And like I said, they're also going to be, or they can also apply for funding moving forward. So this isn't going to tie their hands behind their back at all. So I don't know. So this is just coming out today. I don't know. I mean, this is like breaking news. I don't know if you have, if you're doing anything in the gaming space, if you're an individual or an entity who's building blockchain games, smart contracts, core software infrastructures, community tooling. But this information is just coming out today. They got $100 million. And from that $100 million coming in, they're saying it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks before, the decisions are going to be issued. Because they're going to do due diligence. They're not just going to hand out $100 million all willy-nilly. Game 7 is a couple of years, just a year old. It just came out 1 year ago. And already got $100 million to throw around. They came out just over a year ago, part of a $500 million blockchain ecosystem accelerator backed by BitDAO, which is actually one of the largest DAOs out there. 500 million. They probably had to wait for like the 1 year lockup or something. And now they got $100 million that they're going to be distributing to a lot of people they know, a lot of people they don't know. I think this is something that Dylan Satoshi needs to know about. Yeah, most of the funding came from the namesake decentralized treasury, BitDAO, but at the same time, we have, is this Forte, Myrana Ventures, Warner Music Group, Baleo, Avalanche, Interchain Foundation, Off-Chain Labs, OP Games, Polygon Studios, Solana Ventures, and the now defunct Alameda Research. They also participated in the seed round. Yeah, so a lot of funding out there for blockchain games. $100 million in the bottom of the bear.
Hey Gary, am I coming through now?
Yeah, you're coming through.
Nice, cool. Yeah, I gotta set my default drivers correctly. I uninstalled Voice Potato recently because I'm not really streaming like that these days. But I just wanted to say, guys, on this topic, the 100 million. I mean, just view it in the scale of the crypto market cap dipping below 1 trillion. That's actually kind of fascinating to see it in that context. I mean, it's a huge injection. And also these accelerators have tremendous potential. I was speaking with, I can't remember their name. So bad that recall the specific name. So many different players out here. But I was speaking with this amazing group with Sarah Austin, who is a really cool entrepreneur. And her accelerator is giving out, millions, maybe not on this scale. But I was just kind of like baffled, and they're really in the game space, and they're really not necessarily exclusive to Ethereum. A lot of them are on Binance Smart Chain and on Solana. And so I think on the gaming side, I hosted spaces for crypto, for the crypto bots, one of the, if not the first, one of the first games, blockchain tokenized games, at least with the collection. And that experience had me interacting with all these different gaming entities on Solana. I was on Solana Shark Tank. I was with the Axes and all these different people, right? It was a cool thing. And in the process, though, I really began to understand sort of the nature of where we're at with gaming in blockchain, and it's so early. And so what they're looking for here and elsewhere is just deep API for Unity and blockchain that will enable people to come in with just Unity skills, that they've been applying to huge game studios for years and just build in blockchain with some boilerplate tools and some APIs. So this will change the game because the last thing I'm gonna say on this, sorry for the long monologue, but
keep it going. Tell us.
Well, one guy responded. I said I was promoting crypto bots, which is very limited, PvP turn-based kind of a deal, and this guy said, I don't play blockchain games. He said, I play real games. I'm a real gamer. And I was like, because I couldn't even argue, you know what I mean? What am I going to say? Which game can I point to that has superior, real-time CDNs and it's functioning and writing anything to the chain at all? Most of the games become a compromise between the efficiency of centralized data storage and having, a little bit of scalability on some transactions, because you can't write everything and you can't store everything. So anyway, there's needed development here, and I'm excited to see this capital come into the space, especially at this time. It's very cool.
Yeah, well, if there's anybody who's doing development, I mean, we should let them know about this. No strings attached. The strings are, you got to get the shit done. You got to do the damn thing and do the work. But assuming you do the work, you're going to get the money. Assuming they pick you, right? I mean, there's a couple assumptions in there, but if you say you're going to do it and then they think you're going to do it, and then if you actually do it, then you get the check, and money helps make the world go round.
Facts.
Especially in a bear market. People are cash strapped. People want money. They want to build stuff, and there's, money is dried up a lot.
So I want to say this BitDAO has a number of different sponsors or people that have got it up and running, and one of them was Peter Thiel, right, the co-founder of PayPal. So putting a bit more context to these numbers, so you got 100 million that's going to go towards this development, open source development of gaming. Now, go back 8 years, this is why the name rang a bell. before Ethereum existed, $100,000 was awarded to Vitalik by Peter Thiel, the Peter Thiel Fellow Scholarship. $100,000 is what he got initially for present and future projects. And during that time, that's when Ethereum began. Now, we're not saying there's going to be another Ethereum, but in context, that's 1,000 of those grants that are going out. That's 1,000 different projects. And I'm sure there's going to be some of even fewer amounts. And what's the number that we said before? Was it 1 out of 1,000 or was it 10 out of 1,000 that will become amazing, successful pieces? Either way, this will further gaming tremendously and the brightest minds will stand up. But that is 1,000 Vitalik grants going out to different people. And I just want to pause and say that anytime we do say, do the damn thing, we also need to tip our hat to ENS Punks for coming up with that.
The throes of passion, the things we say. Yeah, it'll be good times for the games. And we know video games lead technology. They lead culture. They lead science. You know, video game technology comes out, movie making. People don't realize the amount of money, the amount of revenue that the movie, the cinema industry makes from movies and creating graphics. And that money goes into R&D for computers. And our world has wild technology in terms of graphics and computer processing. And the reason, like, for medical imaging, like we can do shit in science and medicine and hospitals. And the shit that we could do was paid for, underwritten from people going to the movies and from the movie industry developing this technology. And then that technology getting used in, you know, medical science. And so what video games and entertainment and the adult industries do is they push, you know, the boundaries of what's possible. And then that science, technology, all of it, right, gets commandeered by other industries that don't have, you know, as ravenous a fan base.
And just to do the double tie-in, actually, if we're coming back to gaming, let's also remember that Vitalik, it was when he lost his character inside. Was it not World of Warcraft, League of Legends, where he lost his League of Legends character due to some update or whatever it was? That was one of the inspirations for. Yeah, you got this story? Yeah. Go, tell it.
Vitalik said when he lost his League of Legends characters and I think he said the game makers took off one trait in his favorite character, and when they did that, that was what motivated him to start to build Ethereum. And to be honest, I think this is really, really huge. This grant you spoke of, because I feel like entertainment, gaming, like movies, as you said, is really, really going to be one of the drivers that brings adoption into Web3. Because when people are doing something they like, and when they're just doing something for fun, that's when a lot of people usually pile into something. So I think we're due to see a very, very big movement in the Web3 gaming section. I think 2023, that's next year, and 4 as well, will really, really mark a turning point in Web3 gaming, and I'm just really, really excited for it. At the moment, I've been looking up some new games up and coming and trying to start to see what they're doing and getting on them very early, because I feel like something is gonna happen. 23-4 is gonna be big for gaming in Web3. So yeah.
And so what else are you up to, and what else are you into, Muffin?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you want to chit chat about you for a second? What are you I don't know, I know you're on Twitter and I know you're into ENS and I follow you, and I wish there was notes in Twitter. I wish there was a note, so if I block somebody, I can say why I blocked them. I can add the tweet. I wish Twitter's like Salesforce, And I could, if I friend somebody, I could be like, all right, this is when I friended them, and this is why, and this is like a tweet that they did, and but I don't know. I just figure if I follow somebody, they just must have done something or said something, and I just like randomly followed them one day. I don't know how other people do. I follow people pretty liberally, but yeah. So it's like, I don't know. What do you want? Like, is there anything you want to talk about, or what are you into, or what do you think about the space? When did you get into ENS?
Myself, I'd describe myself as just here because I feel like something special is happening in the Web3 space in general. So I'm just in and around and trying to be at the forefront of everything happening. And in terms of what I'm actually doing now, I'm just trying to be involved in all the niches as best as I can. I also have a job. I'm also working um, I think 2 jobs at the moment in Web3. Also helping non-paid in some others. I work as a mod in Asian. It's a PFP project, female empowerment about Asian women. But that's besides it. And I'm nowadays into ENS a lot because I feel like the identity is inevitable, and especially when you're talking about Ethereum, if Ethereum is going to be successful, there's no way ENS is not going to be successful. It's definitely going to catch on in a very, very, very big way. So that's why I'm mostly around the ENS community as well. And gaming is another niche I'm looking at because I feel like I think it's inevitable. If you look at the success of Fortnite, there I feel like there's a lot of crypto layers in Fortnite already, but they don't know about it. Like it's not been implemented, but I feel like it's really really ripe to get something of that kind of level of adoption in terms of gamers coming in and playing in that kind of fashion. So yeah, identity gaming, just projects, what I'm looking at, because I feel like these are going to be very, very, very big cornerstones in how we go forward in this space.
Huge. Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, just how Fortnite took over, I totally agree with you, and how that captured people, I totally agree with you, and how blockchain or Web3 has that opportunity 100%, and how it's going to carry people forward. It's been really hard. There's a lot of people who have been trying to do blockchain gaming since forever, right? I mean, I remember it's actually kind of funny. When I remember when I signed up for my MetaMask wallet, and when the reason I signed up for my MetaMask wallet was to play a blockchain game. And like some people download a MetaMask wallet to like buy a PFP or to buy and sell a cryptocurrency. I downloaded a MetaMask wallet so I can connect to what was it? Was it
Crypto Fighters or Crypto Oink?
No, it was
was in Crypto Kitties.
No. Oh man, it was like a web-based like browser game. It was like a asteroid game, Etherplay. I think it was etherplay.io. I have to go look it up.
Yeah, we gotta look that one up. That sounds interesting.
It's old school if it's still around, man. I don't know if it's still around. Etherplay. I'm just gonna type in Etherplay into Google.
All the archaeologists, get out of McBride, round up Leonidas and White Rabbit. Let everyone know we got a historical treasure unearthed right here.
Hey man, we're uncovering a historical treasure. So I'm just like thinking about, back in the day. So so what happened is that I heard about these guys. I don't know how
out there
or what or where, but there was Etherplay, and what happened is I went to their website and they were like, click here, download the wallet. They were like, make sure you back up the passphrase, which I did. So no bad stories coming there. I was a good boy. I did everything right. But what I didn't realize, because I was, then you fast forward to the future, and I have my MetaMask wallet. I'm trying to find like a backup for my MetaMask wallet. I just lost someone. Trying to find a backup for my MetaMask wallet, and with the backup for my I can't find it. And it down. I didn't mark it down as the MetaMask wallet. I marked it down as the Etherplay wallet, because Etherplay was the very first website, right? That I so I just, yeah, that's what I thought, right? So this wallet that I used for like later everything back then. Yeah, so it was just really interesting how my new Gary Palmer Jr. brain, I downloaded this wallet and I thought that wallet was the Etherplay wallet, but yeah, to get back to these bad boys, they were founded in 2016, and Etherplay is a blockchain game studio based in Scotland, building unstoppable games running on Ethereum. They had a successful launch because they launched the first ever, right? I don't know about that. The first ever game platform on Ethereum back in 2016. I was there. And now they're apparently back with new game ideas. Their latest is this .eth thing. Don't know what that is. Conquest.eth. It's a permissionless and persistent game of strategy and diplomacy. Conquest.eth, DEFCON edition. An experimental build is live. We can play it over here and join the Conquest Discord servers. They got their Twitter account. I still follow them, right? Yeah. Cool. And
1,200 followers?
1,200 followers. Yeah, you wouldn't know it.
Etherplay, baby. That's a golden nugget. That's a do they have some tokens? What's going on here?
Hey, listen, I know we're live, man. But now that I dropped the alpha and you're gonna take it to the next level, just let me know what you're thinking, okay?
You're such a boss, dude. I can't believe this is your first, like, the impetus for your first. Well, it's actually a great story. We should go around the room with that story and see what how they got their first thing going. But it's very, this is, Gary, we're having a moment. I'm just appreciating the moment. This is fun.
Yeah, Jeff, how do I play this game now? Enter coordinates, go. I got my planets. I gotta connect. Which wallet am I got here?
Yeah, don't let us down, Gary. You're representing minting coins on the stream right now. Any losses will count against you'll be given merits.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hope this is them. I mean, they got etherplay.io. Yeah, I hope I'm not connecting to a bad website. All right, well.
Use good wallet hygiene, Gary. Don't set a bad example.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, 1,200 followers. It's got to be the one. It rings so true. You know, it's so funny. Some of this stuff is real treasure, man. I mean, seriously, this is cool. Like, this is really cool. I was involved in. I have a crypto fighter. I have a dope mage. Actually, I can show you. I have a really cool mage.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play. I don't have any XDAI in this wallet. Yeah, dope mage where?
Crypto fighter mage from the OG collection. And then recently they had launched the innovation of the refundable contract, the 721R, that was intended to give people the ability to kind of have more security with certain parameters to, like, you know, reverse their mints if they weren't getting what they were promised or whatever. Super interesting idea, but it didn't end up executing because they didn't have enough interest in it. But that was like crypto bots as well, Gary. Both of those projects were some of the earliest games that had a pretty good following, and they both had to shut down during the crypto winter in, like, at least early 2018 or so. They had to shut it down because the transaction costs were just ridiculous. Like, nobody's playing that game, and the few people who didn't really realize what they were doing, and they were angry about it. So it was like just like a one-way inbound, like, frustrated request of people wanting gas money back, you know. So they shut all those games got shut down. A lot of them, most of them.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this I can play while we're hanging out, but all right. So, but Conquest, game of strategy and diplomacy. I feel like degenning real quick. Sorry, hold on.
Live degen session with Gary Palmer Jr. He's going down the memory lane. Does it look familiar? Does it ring true to your experience back in the day?
Well, this is the new game. This is a new and improved game. And this is new. And to participate, you first acquire planets by depositing a stake in the form of play tokens. So there's your answer there. These planets will then produce spaceships, apparently. So maybe on Earth, we're just a bunch of play tokens for some intergalactic simulation to produce spaceships that you can use to attack other planets. You'll also have to make sure that you have enough spaceships to protect your own planet. It's a good idea to reach out to other players and plan strategies together. And at any time, whether you acquire the planet via staking or via attack, you can exit the planet. This takes 3 days, during which you cannot use it, but at the end of which you'll be able to get your deposit ready to be withdrawn. But you got to be careful, because even though your planet will continue to produce spaceships, you can lose it while waiting for the exit period to end. That doesn't sound fun. Yeah, so I don't know if I got time right here to figure out what's going on with these planets. So these got stake in them.
Yeah, there's apparently some meters there with different attributes. Kind of interesting to see the UI, what they've done. Mint 1.6, so these tokens would be interesting. Oh, okay, it's XTI. Gary, this is fantastic. Thank you for showing us Etherplay. Is that right? Etherplay.io?
Yeah.
And Etherplay.
Where's the original game? How do I get to the original? They don't let me go to the original game?
So let's just highlight how awesome it is that they have their .eth name. Like, that is something.
And their games.eth.
It's on IPFS, is it?
Well, no, but that's on that. So the game is conquest.eth.
Oh, fully on-chain game. Okay.
And their name is etherplay.io, and they have both of their .eth names. They have both their brand name, and so I was just like double downing on what you're saying. They got both, not only their game name on IPFS. Yeah, this is a game. How do I play this one? Oh no, this is different. I think it's different. No, this is definitely different. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, they got both. Yeah. So, what happens when I go to?
This is the kind of game. If you're playing this game, you're playing with like Vitalik and a few of the homies. You know what I mean? There's probably like a handful of people who are like some deep OGs. Like, that's a reason. Get in that game. And it says encourage you to reach out to the other players, try to form alliances with them. Like, become an OG of Etherplay, and who knows what other kind of OG you might bump into in there. Just saying. Or it could be a rug, or a phishing scam. It looks legit. I trust Gary Palmer Jr. No, for real though. DYOR everyone, and make sure that you're using
Ronin
hygiene and everything.
Is this Ronin? It can't be Ronin.
Ronin.eth?
Yeah. RONAN.
I'm sure a lot of these guys have their .eth on there, huh? That would make sense. That's crazy.
Must be a different Ronin that I'm thinking of.
Is that a token holder? It looked like the map may have had like tokens, distributed throughout it and everything.
Unstoppable open-ended game of strategy. Oh, they got mantras and bleeps. Ooh, machine dot bleeps. What are you doing there? See you, Etherplay.
Let's check out machine.
Yeah, so Conquest is also on Twitter. So the Etherplay is on Twitter. Then also Conquest is on Twitter. Oh, who's this guy? Oh, I found Ronin. I'm not following you. I'm following you, Ronin, in Scotland. Ooh, here's a website. Holy shit, look at this nice website on IPFS.
Oh, yeah, look at that .limo. Yes, Ronan.
He's a game developer. Etherplay, Conquest. Obviously, he's super into ENS, Web3 architect. Participating in EIP 1155, which is NFTs.
Gary, just observe for a moment how, I mean, are you having, I don't know, I'm having the experience of saying.
You did the Mandelas? I know this. Like, this is in Crypto Voxels. We visit this in Crypto Voxels.
Dude, I'm feeling like this is like one of the best .eth sites I've seen. And so from that perspective, this guy is a baller.
This is cool. What's up with these Mandelas? I don't know if it's the same, but I've seen these Mandelas in voxels.
So you should go over and chill with Ronan in voxels. Just go over to just knock on his door. Go hit him up in the metaverse. Maybe you could leave him a little message.
Yeah. So you got the Mandelas here, because Mandela's got its own Twitter. Now it's him. So we got the Conquest following that. He's got the Bleeps DAO. Have to go check that out. Etherplay, Eternal World.
This is definitely an OG game, yeah?
Yeah, this is like an OG guy.
Just his PFP is the OG ETH MetaMask icon. You notice that? It's kind of funny.
Bleeps. What are bleeps? Oh, they're in like different note sounds. Oh my goodness, that's very loud. Oops. Yeah, so these are bleeps. That's cool. So he's also into sound and music. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff to explore here. Wow. I mean, this is a rabbit hole.
Does Bleeps have a URL? I can't see right. What's the Bleeps URL?
Bleeps they got bleeps.eth, but it's bleeps.art. Sold out. You can also check out the Melodies demo. Got source code. Got bleeps. Yeah, got a .limo. What's in your .limo? Of course he has a .limo. This guy's rocking it.
Outstanding.
Okay, so the limo site's taking a second to load.
Mine timed out. That was the first thing I tried was the bleeps.eth.limo.
Yeah, what the bleep?
What the bleep? Actually, I tried machine.bleeps. I want to check their subdomain.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, man. Well, this is cool. Yeah, they got good times on their names too. They're all 27, 33. Ronin's registered for 45.
Gary, I'd like to thank you for extending out the 100K cap .eth domain and registering that out, man. That was a really cool gesture, and I just want to say it's really much appreciated, man.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, you're totally welcome. Yeah, just, little things, you know what I mean? Trying to. Yeah, I think it was yesterday we were talking about time travelers. I think. Were we 184? Did we mention time travelers yesterday? We were saying I was mentioning the time traveler thing a couple times, but you guys hear me talk about this already? Yeah, it's like time traveler. Every single time traveler movie, people are always worried about they're going to go back in the past, make one small little change, and completely alter the entire future. And no one ever stops to think that they can make one small little change today and completely alter the entire course of human history in the entire future. And so who knows, man, maybe extending that name, I averted nuclear war or started it. One of the two. We'll see.
That's a certainty, actually.
So I think we're not actually done with Ronan. I want to take you to jollyroger.eth.limo. So jolly-roger.
Put the link in the private chat.
Yeah.
What? Is it like Doge Party Jolly Roger style?
This is well, we'll pull it up, but I think we got to show everything that Ronan's doing.
What
because
are we looking at?
Well, production ready template to build decentralized applications. So Ronan Jolly Roger is putting out open source content for you to do your own thing. That could not be skipped.
Oh my God, he buried the lead. So let me see, what can you guys see? All right, so we got home, Jolly Roger, production ready templates to build decentralized, spells decentralized in a European way, applications. We got demo, GitHub, use it, showcase, bleeps. We just went over that. Bleep dial, fully on-chain sounds. On-chain sounds, that's cool. On this page.
I mean, obviously, like, yeah, it said they were composable there, but I mean, that's just interesting for
Re-executed.eth is available.
Oh, wow.
Anyway. Mandelas, we saw that. On-chain generative bitmaps with 0 externalities. Interesting. All open source. Conquest, a game of strategy and diplomacy running on EMV. Gnosis. So features of this interesting stuff is that we have all included. This template includes the setup for smart contracts, subgraph, contract API, front end. All is set up as a mono repo with a shared common library, PWA ready, 100% Lighthouse score, off-chain caching, JavaScript code necessary to launch the app is less than 50 KB. So you got great dev experience, hard hat for contracts, hard hat deploy, contract development, the graph API, so on, everything hot, reload. Contract changes, contract get, keep their address code, update automatically. That's hot. Subgraph changes, the graph get updated, re-executed. That's hot. Fully IPFS ready. This is where he's going to say it. He's going to say it. He's going to say the letters ENS. Fully IPFS ready. Proper URL routing. The web app works on both IPFS URLs and ENS DNS URLs. PWA works on IPFS too with scoped server service workers. So we got all in TypeScript, code splitting, tree shaking, VS Code setup, one command deploy, can't get any easier. Everything's set up except for the private env variable to deploy the contracts, the subgraph, and the web app all at once. It also includes the Fleek config for the automatic web deployments on IPFS. That saves you a lot of money in gas deployment. And so we'll never know the identity of this person named Jolly Roger. They could be anybody.
It says created by Ronan Sanford right there.
I know. All right. So what's this? So then we have the demo. What happens when I say hello? Is this going to blow up my computer? I don't know what happened. Mom, are you there?
It's nice to meet you, 0110.
Nice to meet you all, man. I've really appreciated being on here, talking like with guys who are live in this whole ecosystem as well. It's definitely a pleasure.
What is Gary getting into? It would be cool to get into some dev stuff with you, man. Well, it'd be cool to see what you can, what you're building and what you might want to build. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Are you when it comes to like Solidity contract, like smart contract stuff, are you exploring that? Have you deployed some contracts and stuff? What's your what's your experience level with smart contract?
Me?
Yeah, you personally, yeah. I'm curious to know, kind of like just thinking about maybe I got a half a dozen things floating that might be cool to pair up on, or I need blockchain dev support with.
Oh, I'm not a blockchain dev.
Oh,
No, I'm not a dev.
but did you say that you studied computer science?
Yeah, but like I'm not building yet.
Cool.
Physics and computer science.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're more on like the hardware end, on like engineering, tech components and that.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
IRL, like in real life, I manage my family's generator business, so I think that's where the background comes in. I I didn't actually get to go on like the coding, building stuff with software and all that.
Nice. What are you doing with like your engineering, kind of like when it comes to you said it was a generator business. So are you kind of like doing something technical in that generator business? Are you just administrating it, or are you doing like technical development, kind of R&D sort of something?
Yeah, I did a little R&D like to kickstart and everything, but at the moment just actual management, I would say management surface.
Right on, man. What about you, 184? What are you into these days, man? Are you building in any specific direction? Or are you mostly investing and collecting, or do you have any dreams that minting coins and the network that we're building here might help to facilitate?
Some I'll share, some I won't share. I suppose what I do on a day-to-day basis is I trade, invest, I speculate, I do all that, but also scale that back a fair bit. I have one domain that I am trying to build on, and I won't name that domain. The rest I'm sort of writing up use cases or business cases for them and how that might work, and trying to flesh out what is the best use of time if that opportunity comes up, and really hone in on the skill of what do I think is actually an effective domain versus something name, sorry, not domain. What do I think is an effective name versus something that I think is just someone's identity out there? Because not all names are going to be businesses. Some are just going to be someone's identity, and that's fine. But there's a big difference in what you can do with it and how you should market it, how you should position it. So really, a lot of my time is just fleshing out that use case. Well, not use case, fleshing out the business case for a particular thing. And each time you do that, you sort of iterate the possibilities, and then you apply it and you go back and you change the others. So I've probably got 10 to 20 on the fly, but one that I'm actually wanting to build on. The rest just improving the skill.
Have you deployed some .ethot limo sites?
No, other than the Nini and things like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the next step for me, man. I just launched my Novax.ethot limo with ENS Punks. Thank you, Punks, and Flexter. Flexter is out there getting it done, man, and he's quite well like documented with his notes and stuff. So they're actually, the two of them were doing a few spaces, really educating, and got me started. So the process of doing that it's fairly straightforward. It only takes a little bit of time, and then you realize like, okay, well, now you got a little CSS and HTML. You can start editing those files and build something very simple or something much more complex. So great web devs are in huge need out here. But when it comes to like interacting with the blockchain, that's another story, because now you're talking about building on the D web, and then building a dApp on the D web is kind of a compounding level of experience that's required, and there's really not a lot of people have done it. That's why what Ronan is doing is actually partially so damn impressive. Some of the only guys I know that are doing this shit, excuse my language, our Bensick, you know, like SSH Matrix, who's doing the 100K cat fork of the Boardiness Yacht Club contract. You know, that's something where when they launched that project, the 10K digit subdomain avatar project, they're deployed on a DApp that was hosted at boardinessyachtclub.eth.limo and binsick.eth.limo. And actually, when you minted one, you got both. They like doubled it up, which is kind of cool. So anyway, yeah, I haven't seen people. I mean, this is the frontier, you know, this is sick.
So sick. So cool.
Sick. This is crazy. I mean, it's impressive. Ronan's impressive, man. That is cool stuff. And it's cool to connect the dots.
What a cool gem. What a cool gem to come across randomly.
And you can thank him. You can tell him, thanks, bro, for getting me my first Ethereum wallet. You know?
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Back in the day, yeah, man, it's like just like we're talking about on the the main sort of thing of the show today, is sort of gaming and how gaming is onboarding. Gaming is pushing people in. Gaming is pushing the industry up. And gaming, you know, I'm not even a gamer. I'm not a gamer, and gaming is what got me in. Just because I was testing stuff and it's what I heard about, and I'm like, oh, I want to see how this works on the blockchain. You know, on-chain gaming was impossible to hack. You know, fair play.
Provable fairness was a big talking point in the ICO days, especially you remember Funfair and all that kind of stuff. People were talking about gambling on chain for the first time. It was like,
yeah,
provably fair. You're like, you'll never get rugged. You'll never wonder if that.
Do you remember? Do you remember the I forgot what it was called, but do you remember the ICO for, was it called Bullet or Gun or something?
No, I remember it.
It was like, so it was kind of ridiculous. Looking back at this is the epitome of the ICO days. We're probably wrapping up here soon, so this is a good story. But yeah, there's an ICO for a digital gun company, for like a digital gun chain.
Oh shit!
I don't remember the name of this, but I'm sure you could find it. It's like very popular. I would probably recognize if I heard it. And it's digital gun chain. It's like the guns are like a digital and biometric. I'm sure you've seen the guns before. I think it was on Shark Tank. A version was on Shark Tank once. The gun doesn't fire unless your fingerprint is on it.
I swear, dude, I ideated that thing. Like I don't like, I have no direct connection to it, but I was at ASU. I was in my like senior year in my tech entrepreneurship program, and we had a breakout session. It was specifically about firearms and firearm safety and ways to innovate, and biometric triggers were, you know, and a bunch of other things that are kind of low-lying fruit. They're obvious. But it's funny to think of how, like, it occurred to me afterward how much of an engine that kind of educational institution can be if you tap into the creativity of those young people, and they're not getting paid to do all that work. They're paying to do that. And we can in turn capitalize on that by inviting students in to educate them and show them the ropes in crypto and DeFi in a more formalized way, where we have like an apprenticeship program or an internship or something like that. Because I think there's legit opportunity. When I wrote my senior thesis on blockchain as a means of preserving freedom of expression in 2017, my senior professor hadn't seen anything like that. He was like, "What the hell are you doing?" You know? So it's still somewhat like that. I mean, it's changing, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there, especially with the young entrepreneurial engine.
It's a lot of the times with some of this cutting edge stuff, it's the students who are bringing it into the school. And the schools are, even before the students become students, the students are telling the high-end students, high-value students, they're telling the university, hey, you got a blockchain program? Or like in Web 1, are you teaching people HTML? I'm going to go to Princeton because Princeton has an HTML course and Harvard doesn't. That was a real conversation at one point. And then the same thing, like, really, right? You know, and then later it's like the metaverse, right? If you think about what the world was like in 2016, 2017, the metaverse courses at these we talked about it in Minting Coin show. These metaverse courses at these colleges were not even courses. They were like sections of courses, you know, fitting in where the teacher's trying to get creative, or it's like kind of fits in there, or it's like not a real course. It's like, you know, like a club or something to that effect. And now just over the past couple of years, there's been blockchain courses being put in. And then what's happening, you know, it's probably not there yet, but there's gaming certificates and gaming universities teaching video game design. And they, you know, Harvard has metaverse courses. The gaming design companies might not have the metaverse design courses yet, but they will, you know, to stay on top of the trends. Like there's a lot of like, you know, there's banks. Some banks say Bitcoin is the devil. And then we have some banks that are coming around being like, maybe we should get some of this Bitcoin. Same thing with gaming. We have gaming companies that say NFTs are the devil. And then we have other gaming companies that are saying, hey, what's this NFT thing that, you know, could add value to our game? And we're going to see who adopts it early. And we're going to see, you know, there's going to be some successes and they're going to have some big wins.
Yo, check out Professor Phil Snyder. I'm going to try and get him on here as a guest, Gary, at U of T, University of Texas. He's one of the first guys teaching a blockchain course out there at a D1 school. And I know him and have worked with him in some blockchain stuff as well, but he'd be a great guest here. And likewise, he invited me to speak in his courses, and then we kind of haven't spoken. So it might be a cool opportunity to actually speak in a collegiate setting, you know, as a guest, and to kind of audit a class of his. And I think that would be a fantastic thing to do. I really think there's a lot more there, you know, like a whole, you know, there's a whole panacea of opportunity in that world. So it's cool that you mentioned about the metaverse classes at the Ivy Leagues and stuff, because like that, even now, that's like surprising information to me. It's cool.
So I just want to jump in here and do a bit of a tie back to a few things. So talking the university's blockchain courses, there's also a team that recently during the ENS ecosystem meeting, they showcased their project, and they had won the, what was it? It was the ETH San Francisco, a competition, ETH San Francisco 2022. Their business was called Org3, and it was using ENS subdomains and the ability from an organizational point of view, how do you use subdomains to give rights and permissions for accessing documents and other different pieces like that. So they're currently listed on ENS Small Grants. Again, they spoke during the ecosystem meeting recently, and they come out of USC, Julie Shi, so JULIESHI_ETH, Julie Shi, or julieshi.eth, blockchain at USC. So these amazing courses and these amazing people are using ENS and those blockchain courses at USC. And today I saw a post, we've talked about it before, you've got the University of Nicosia, Nicosia, and you've got, I think it's Punk 65492, whatever, you know, whatever complicated name, you know, you've got a bunch of people that have blockchain courses or Web3 courses, NFT courses, and they're running them out of University of Nicosia, and they're entirely online. And I recall seeing it today. I think it was Binance saying, you know, we support this university and we'll even have some scholarships for people. But there are free courses and paid courses in blockchain accessible to anyone all over the world. And I think for one of their more showcase courses, it was simple. It was as simple as minting the NFT. There was a limited number, but it was a free mint the NFT, and you've got access to the course that was held in the metaverse, and you'll get your NFT as proof of completion or attendance later on. So absolutely awesome. And also a bit of a plug for Org3, which are using ENS names and a recent winner.
That's a great show idea for us to do in the future, where we can just like either go over free or paid college courses that you can take online, or, you know, for metaverse related or Web3 related classes. Let it be observation or certificate available. You know, that could be like really, really interesting. And or maybe we deep dive into one of them and, you know, check out a a class, you know, on the stream, maybe, you know, like a live commentary of it while we go through it or something, you know, it could be really, really interesting. But I don't know. There's like so much to talk about and so much that we can really get into. I'm just thinking about deep diving into some of these websites and services together. I'm thinking about deep diving into some interviews together. We could just keep on talking and going on about, on about this for hours. But, probably good to call it a night here. And we go around the room, see if anyone has any like burning things that they want to, shout out or just where can people find you or learn more about you? 0110.
Yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure, man. I had a blast here. I think I'm glad to like see you guys have a one-on-one conversation with everyone here. It's just been good, and minting coins definitely gonna be tuning in every day, every time you guys come on, and yeah, it's been a pleasure. You can find me on my mostly Twitter, Instagram as well, but yeah, Twitter, Instagram, yeah. Cheers, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. 184.
Yeah, Gary, Mafan, Novax, it's been awesome. You can find me wherever, doesn't matter. I will say, going into tomorrow, we've got a few games on. We've got Ecuador, Senegal, we've got Netherlands, Qatar, Iran, USA, Wales, and England. Who are you all picking? Who's your team for tomorrow? It's got to be USA, Gary.
Man, I mean, the Iran USA game is going to be great. It's going to be the war of the payment systems, the war of the international payment system companies.
Awesome. Okay.
I think my winning pick for the World Cup would be France. I just feel like France might probably win it.
Lovely.
What were the choices for tomorrow? Can you recap them again? 184.
Yeah, we got 4 games. We've got Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands, Qatar, Iran, USA, Wales, and England.
Netherlands, Ecuador, USA, England are my picks. USA all the way. USA's got a good team finally. You know, after 20 years of playing and loving soccer, I used to play competitively. I was actually a little known fact. Novak's was a Olympic development player. My parents used to drive me like an hour and a half several days a week to go and train with the big boys. So I love the game. And I love watching World Cup. It's one of my favorite things. So Ecuador is also close to my heart. My mother or my wife's father lived in Ecuador, grew up in Ecuador. It's actually a cool story. I'll save it for another time, Gary. But he was there during the socialization. His father was a oilman, a geologist who was doing helping an oil company pull oil out and stuff. So it's a great story of how they kind of had to leave in a hurry. But anyway, there's a story about economic systems and their failures. But thank you guys for the stimulating conversation. Number one, as always. And 2, thank you to everyone listening in the audience who's supporting and engaging with the content and with us. We really appreciate you. You can find me on Twitter at N0VAX. My handle's just right over here. N0VAX NFT on Twitter. That's the best place. My DMs are open. Hit me up. I love the chat. And when it comes to all this gaming stuff, this has been a really nice convo. Some of the other directions about DAO infrastructure and some of the other things that we touched on really got the wheels turning for me. So I appreciate you, Gary, and 184 and 0110. It's been a nice time, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Novax. I mean, and you have a lot of great experience, specifically in that DAO infrastructure, specifically in, sort of organization and organizing. And, I think I heard politics in there. And you got that experience in that gaming, and writing your thesis on Web3 and how Web3 and blockchain can be used to fight to maintain the freedoms of expression. That's really good work that you did, which you developed your mind and you developed these ideas, and you have a great understanding of where we come from, where are we now, and what do we need right now to add on to what we have, right? Like this tooling and this development to get us to where we need to go. And so we need people who are asking these questions, who are participating, like you, like 184, like Marfan. And, you know, and we're doing it, And thank you guys for doing it with me. And for everyone else, thanks for popping in. Thanks for watching the show. Like this video, subscribe. And until next time, I'm glad that together we are minting coins.